Hey guys, so it's here bringing you the second video of the day, and today we are returning to Huzzy Spectates, and today we are spectating Diamond. It's obviously a rating that's a little bit closer to where I am, and we're going to be focusing on today Rosie Alpaca, who is obviously the AD carry playing Kalista. But just before we get into it, just to mention a couple things, if you want to get in this series, again, emailing me, messaging me is not the way you do it. Every single episode, I explain how to do it, and also it's in the description of the video, and it is either sign up to the Patreon tier, which I believe could be full now, or become a Twitch subscriber, which is a tier 3 Twitch subscriber. Those are the two ways that you get in this series. Not like people are randomly sending me emails with the replays. I instantly delete those because people are officially signing up, and obviously they're going to take the majority, or they're going to take priority. And right now I think we have around 10 odd people signed up officially, so I'm not going to run out of replays anytime soon. So before also we get into it, let's go into the loading screen, or just show the low score window. So you can see the win percentage is in the favor of the Kalista that we're going to be focusing in today. Team comp wise, I don't think either team comp has a crazy advantage. I will just like to point out one thing though, is Lucian top lane on the enemy team, currently 0-2 on the champion with terrible stats. Like I've said to you guys at home, is there are sometimes reasons that pros play certain things, and that is not a reason to randomly play it in solo queue. So this person, who looks to be like a Scion main by their world ranking, probably has saw it in competitive and gone, I'm going to play that, where obviously that's not a great idea. You don't have a team comp built around Lucian top. They have a team comp not really built around anything. If anything, they've got a team comp built around Jinx a little bit more, with protection, with Kha'Zix flanking. But so right now, looking in the loading screen, I'm expecting Lucian to do quite poorly versus that Jarvan Orianna combo in mid-late game. So anyway, that's the loading screen. Feel free to pause it if you want to look at more information yourself, but it's a generally mid-diamond or mid to low diamond game, diamond 4 being the majority of the people, with occasional diamond 3s. So obviously, and also a couple diamond 5s scattered here. So obviously still, just to point out, still in the top 1% of the game. A lot of people get freaked out when I say that every single time, but if you're in Diamond 5, and I think it's Diamond 5 50 LP, you're in the top 1% of League of Legends. Not just like, anyway, you're in the top 1% of League of Legends. If you get to like this rating, which is like Diamond 4, Diamond 3, you're in about the top 0.6%. Where I am on my main account now, I'm in around roughly the top 0.3%. There's not many people near the top, so yeah, and a lot of people will go in my commentaries and go, God, there's a lot of mistakes going on. Yep, that's just solo queue, and that's why I want to say to you guys, you're not always going to play perfect. You just have to play well and be smart, and that's what this commentary, if there's a lot of mistakes happening, that's what I want you guys to recognize, is that even though you're a lower rated player, you have to recognize that these are higher rated people playing against higher rated people. So mistakes are naturally going to happen, and when you're against high rating people, they can punish those mistakes even more. But anyway, let's just do a little bit of speed up, because there's no point kind of dilly-dallying, just jungle clearing, running into lane. Jinx and Thresh are in lane instantly. So just really quickly, why are they in lane instantly? What information does this give you? There's a couple things. So they were in lane instantly, and so was Lucian, and so was Ahri. So where's Kha'Zix? So Kha'Zix most likely is soloing blue or soloing red. We don't 100% know where he is. All we know is he's soloing a buff, and that's going to take him a lot more time. So as a Lee Sin jungle, what you could do, and what he already might be doing right now, is knowing that he's soloing that, he might be looking to invade the Kha'Zix, because Kha'Zix is going to be really slow in his clear. So we'll actually see that. Always know and notice when people are slow and in lane first, because that gives you information about what the jungler's doing. And that's what this Lee Sin is using. So we're just going to notice him a little bit. No Kha'Zix, so he's just going to go over and steal that. Anyway, let's focus on the bot lane a little bit. So Kalista, I like Kalista. I think she's an incredibly good champion in Diamond, because she's just so difficult to manage. You know, the reason why I say Diamond, it could be any rating as long as you know how to control the auto attack passive, the bounce, the hop, because that means she is constantly moving. Hook comes in, misses it. She's constantly moving, which is a nightmare for supports or other AD carries to try and get on her. Obviously, we did see Rosie just miss the E of the last hit. This is a basic. You don't want to be missing that, because it's a lot of mana cost and a high cooldown. for not getting that last hit. But not bad so far at all. If, like, you have to remember, when they were in lane straight away, your main job will be kind of trying to even out the lane over the next few waves and trying to get it to a point that you're not constantly on the back foot. You don't want to be playing lane phase, constantly playing like, they're coming at us, because that's going to force mistakes from you. It could force a mistake by them, but what you generally want, and what I find is the best bot lanes, again, this comes from personal experience and also just viewing bot lanes for years, is whenever the lane is just in a neutral place, that's where both lanes can kind of thrive and just kind of go for the best trades. Hook comes in, another miss by Thresh. Kha'Zix in the mid lane near the Orianna. We will obviously be pointing out other things around the map, but you guys can look at the mini-map. Rakan did decide not to go for the knock-up there. That potentially could have been a little bit of nice damage. Now, again, I don't know if this is duo queue. I presume it's not. I presume it's solo queue. Again, in all the replays that I ask for solo queue / duo queue. Not flex queue. I do not want flex queue replays because they're practically normal games. I want ranked, proper ranked. Hook comes in by Thresh, so what I'd want to see is Kalista actually be helping. Does go straight into the mine, so that is a mistake there. You want to probably like angle yourself upward where there was more empty space. Meanwhile, top lane, Lucian does go down, which again we're kind of expecting here. Even though Jarvan will go negative in farm, I am expecting him basically just to start snowballing and one-shot a Lucian. Again, there's reasons you should be playing things, and one of the worst reasons is I saw a pro do it. It's not a reason. They have very specific reasons why they pick certain things. Alright, so again, they're still on the back foot. And again, what you're noticing while they're on the back foot is their health is going lower. They're having to use potions. Jinx is still full health with health potions. While they're on the back foot, it gives Thresh basically free time just to randomly go for hooks. So what I'd want to see from this bot lane is Rakan potentially even start helping auto attack to get this lane to neutral ground. You can see it's nearly there. There's 1 or 2 more minions to go. Nice kill again on the Lucian there. And boom, the lane finally is now in neutral ground, but it's taken 3 odd minutes of lane phase to get there. And in that 3 minutes of like neutral phase, good last hits by Rosie, but your health is a bit lower. And what that adds up to, again, everybody might be like, so what does that mean? That gives more confidence to this Thresh. You can see him pushing up on them. That's because of the health bar. Now, we've already seen this Thresh miss a lot of hooks. So if I was Rosie, I'd be quite confident about dodging hooks. I wouldn't be scared. You know, sometimes you're against a laner, a Thresh, a Blitzcrank, you're like, Jesus, this guy hits hooks all the time. This Thresh, I think, has hit 1 hook out of maybe 4 or 5 he's thrown. That's a very bad percentage chance of hitting. And obviously, yes, you can't be confident that you're always going to dodge them. He might randomly go for a god hook. Nice use of the Q there. But you can have a little bit more confidence. Does get hooked this time. That's what I'm talking about. They should be potentially going for auto attacks. So where's the auto attacks coming out? Uses both summoners to survive. Okay, so one big thing that we noticed there, and again, this is a diamond level game, is as a Kalista specifically, you can practically lose no movement speed while running away. And what we saw there was at least, and I'd like to say at least 2 or 3 auto attacks that Rosie could have done while facing the other way. You're not losing anything as a Kalista because you can use the passive hop. So potentially, if a situation like that breaks out again, I'd want to see more confidence. Again, I want to see more confidence right now. Rakan goes in, gets a nice double knockup. That's a free 1 or 2 auto attacks. You have to remember, 1 or 2 auto attacks can make the difference. Thresh gets a hook. Rosie just has to stay near the tower. Right at the back, does go down, gets 1 kill, goes down again. Good kill over on the Jinx. Lee Sin's going to try and survive. Nice play by Lee Sin, and that's what we like to see in Diamond. Orianna now is coming, obviously a little bit late to the party. She probably isn't going to get anything here, but let's hope that she might. But yeah, that was a tower dive. Kha'Zix actually goes aggressive. Ahri is waiting in the bush. Orianna is potentially caught out from this. She does use ultimate, but she is probably going to die unless she can get the shield. And she can't. So there we go. That is not good play by Orianna. She lets her lane opponent roam and then also dies late to the party. That is a very, very bad situation. While that all happened, though, by the way, Lucian did die again in top lane. So this game does have a silver lining that, you know, your top lane's doing great. And just to mention, in the bot lane, if you look specifically, there's not actually that much of a difference. So when you're coming back to lane, you're like, oh god, we just got 4-man Dove. Are you kidding me? As the Kalista, as a Rakan, all you got to do is go, okay, what's the enemy bot lane? Oh, wait. I've got the same last hits as the Jinx. I'm 1-1-1. I'm 1-1-0. She's 1-1-1. So she has an assist on me. Thresh is 0-1-2. Rakan's 1-1-1. Like, wait, we're kind of even in this lane. We're not behind. And that will give you just extra confidence, not think that you're behind. Because again, League of Legends, a lot of people don't underestimate it, is a mental game. Yes, there's mechanics and you have to move your mouse and press the keys. But after a while, especially when you get to Diamond, people know how to do that stuff. And sure, they may make a mistake every now and then, but generally they know what they're doing. Most games in Diamond and Challenger and whatever are mental games. Are which team tilts less, which team makes the less mental mistakes, which team has the Rager. So Rosie is by himself right now. Does manage to get away, but you just got to be a little bit careful. Like, he ran towards the tower when his support was running away. That's always when supports can get, you know, or AD carries get caught out. It's always the situation of the support is warding and your AD gets hooked and boom, they die. Whenever your support is going to go ward, just back off. Simple as that. Just back off for a couple of last hits. You're probably not even going to lose any, and you don't die. Probably the nicest situation. Okay, so what I want to see again, one thing I think we've been lacking a little bit from Rosie here is confidence. Now, I know Kalista's not the strongest champion in the early game. I do know that, but nor is Jinx. Both of these champions are very much ramping up champions. Kalista in attack speed to get the most amount of spears on somebody. Jinx in getting crit that just goes for massive crits. But in a trade in the early game, if Kalista has free auto attacks on somebody, her E will absolutely wreck people. And that's what I'd potentially want to see Rosie doing a little bit more. Again, I don't know the outcome of this game. I always tell the people who give me replies, do not tell me anything about it other than it's ranked. So you can see Thresh is over here, and you can see one thing just to kind of notice is you can see his body is still facing away. So his mind right now is not thinking about the lane, it's thinking what's in this bush or what's over here. So you could potentially like try to do something. If Jinx is smart, she'll just simply run away though. Let's see how it goes. So Thresh is now come back to lane, so yeah, nothing will get done. He's going to clear that ward. But yeah, we potentially will see a little bit of fireworks, I reckon, in the bot lane soon. Both bot lanes are level 6, so everybody has their ultimate up. In a pure 2v2, I reckon the Kalista lane has a slight advantage if they actually get a nice combo. If they don't get a combo, I reckon it's going to be a pretty difficult situation. So Orianna does go down again. Again, she does make me a little bit nervous, this Orianna already. She's doing okay with last hits, though, so at least there's something going well. Lee Sin is going to be covering the mid lane, and obviously Jarvan's doing quite well in top lane. Free auto attacks every now and then from the Jinx. There's a difference between an AD carry looking for auto attacks and one that is not. Obviously, Jinx has the range advantage when she goes into her rocket launcher. Another hook actually hit. That's not good. Need the auto attacks going. Okay, there was another 1 or 2 auto attacks that you could have got there, and you didn't. Again, every little helps. Jinx ult comes down, and by the way, that wasn't a Jinx ult to try and get kills. They were never going to die. That's a Jinx ult to get an advantage, to basically nearly kill them. Another hook coming in, gets hit again. Oh, that's a mistake by Rakan there. That potentially is a death. Uses heal and flash. They use ignite, and that is not a good situation. So yeah, I'm going to presume this isn't duo queue because there's just too much miscommunication happening. But a lot, I will say, the bad stuff that is happening in this game is stemming from Rosie actually getting hooked. And earlier in the game, we saw that, you know, this Thresh wasn't very good at landing hooks. Another hook. You got to be, like, especially as a Kalista, I will say, Kalista's one of the best champions for dodging hooks. You know, you have your Q that gives you the hop. You can just use a Q hop and then you'll be okay. I think Thresh will die here. Jarvan's cooldown. He did have cooldowns, but he actually just decided not to go for it, which is a bit weird. But yeah, just got to be careful of those hooks. And again, especially as a Kalista, if you're playing Jinx or if you're playing Caitlyn, that's a little bit less mobility based. Kalista is a mobility based AD carry inherently with her passive hop. And when you're getting hit with many, many hooks as a Kalista, you know something's going wrong. And that is a mechanical mistake. So this is where I say is these are mechanical mistakes happening in Diamond. They do happen. But again, it's okay. You can basically just keep pressing on, but every single time that you die, every single time that something happens, they gain an advantage. Now, the lucky thing that you do have, again, always look for the silver lining, because you never want to be playing League depressed, is you got your top lane that is 5-0, potentially 6-0 in a second, but then your opponent. Always be looking to what your opponent is doing, because that's how you best compare yourself. So your opponent has still died 2 times, but now they are a little bit ahead on farm. And that little bit ahead on farm, by the way, is basically just you getting hit by hooks. If you didn't get hit by hooks, you'd still be even on farm. It's pretty much that simple. So Lucian does go down again. He's just getting punished for the pick, practically. He's getting punished for the pick. In the pick itself, because it's not very good in solo queue, and he's getting punished from it because he probably isn't very good at it. Again, we saw in the loading screen that his stats weren't very good at all. Hook coming in, gets hit by another hook. Some people will say, oh, he meant to do that one. You never mean to do a hook. Really nice combo coming out. Double kill by Kalista. Really nice. That was awesome to see. That way that the ult hit with the charmed Rakan and stuff, that was perfect. But again, you don't really want to get hit by that hook. Really want to see, like, Rosie focusing on dodging those hooks. But that was really nice. So I'd want him to stay in lane. Not go back, but of course be careful. You got the Ahri that's roaming. Good hit by Lee. Is he going to go for it? Probably not. Okay, good idea. The reason why he went for that. Meanwhile, we've got a Kha'Zix who does get 1 kill. Potentially still go for the kill. Okay, really good use of E. Good hit by Lee Sin. He does use flash. Lee Sin does have his flash too. He goes for it. Nice play by Lee. Rosie goes down by getting hit by the Jinx rocket. If you didn't see, she got hit by a Jinx rocket. And then the Kha'Zix isolate damage. So that's a lot of deeps. And yeah. Still though, that was a really nice combo over hit. But again, every single time you die, this Jinx is going to keep building that last hit advantage. And that's why I say, oh, stay in lane and potentially farm a little bit, because then she or Rosie could have caught up. But instead, they went for a kill play. Kha'Zix gets 2 kills, and Jinx now gets tower damage, potentially even going to kill the tower, and gets a further CS lead. So you've just got to be basically playing a little bit smarter. Think of it as snooker. You can pop 1 ball, but is that the right play? You know, you have to pot a ball, but then where's the white going? You've got to think about what's happening next, not just about what's happening now. And I think that's potentially a little bit what's happening here. So yeah, what I'd potentially want to see is Lee Sin maybe come bot lane a little bit more. Orianna roams again. That roam was fantastic. The combo of Rakan Charm into an Orianna ultimate is brilliant with the knockup. So that's potentially what I'd want to see, is a little bit more combo play happening. But obviously that isn't up to Rosie. That's just up to the team in general. What I would specifically want from Rosie is basically just focusing on surviving, focusing on dodging hooks, and just getting all the last hits you possibly can. You know, if you've got 7 minions in a wave, get all 7. You've got 6 minions in a wave, get all 6. And again, there are some champions in League that are a little bit more difficult to last hit with. An AD carry is not one of them. And furthermore, a Kalista is not one of them. Because if you muck up, you actually have the safe thing of your E. Okay, so Thresh is walking again, looking for a hook. Doesn't hit it, and that's because you played safe and went backward, which is great. Again, we haven't really seen Rosie make use of the Q. Again, when you see very good Kalista players, they just randomly throw Qs out. Not even to hit anything, just to get that hop and get that dodge going. We haven't really seen that a lot, so that's potentially something that mechanically you could think about. Ward coming down, which is actually a very questionable ward by Thresh, because he's actually splitting himself. They should actually be going all in on Thresh right now, because he's completely alone. And here's the point. You have a Jarvan up in top lane that's absolutely wrecking, so where is the jungler most likely to be? He's most likely to be top lane, because the pressure that is happening. If he's not, and if he is in bot lane, that will give Jarvan that signal, dive and kill him, and then boom, even more advantage. So it's a win-win really going on that Thresh that was alone over here. That was free. So let's continue to see how it goes. They are going to try and kill the ward, which was basically a miss ward by Thresh. They didn't have pressure. You saw Jinx going back, so this is potentially pushing power. Kha'Zix in the mid lane goes in a 2v1. Lee Sin actually should be going in on that to try and maximize the DPS. Jinx rocket comes down, doesn't get anything. Kha'Zix might... Oh, good hit by Lee Sin, but they don't think they're going to get anything. Ahri is coming around. Really bad miss by Orianna there. Jarvan does come for the flank, though, and does manage to get 1 kill. Lee Sin is potentially going to go a little bit nuts. Okay, Lucian nearly killing himself once again. Has to use Flash. Kalista rotating with the ultimate. This is a little bit messy. Orianna goes down. Double knock-up, which is really good. Into a charm. Got to get some auto attacks in. Unfortunately, wasn't there quick enough, but that's not really Kalista's fault because Rakan just does have that crazy amount of jump potential. But this is still potentially good. Good knock-up. Auto attack, auto attack, auto attack. Keep her going. Maybe use E to get the slow in. Does use the slow, which is nice. Does get hooked. Jarvan does take the kill, which I don't think is actually that good. But overall, a not bad situation. It's only a 2v1, and your Orianna did die. This Orianna is actually not having a good game. But obviously, they have a 0 and 8 Lucian. So we did kind of predict that from the early stages. Again, when you're looking at the loading screen, you're looking at stats, how many games they've played, how well they do. Are their stats generally in the red, which means they do worse than an average player? And this Lucian stats were all red. He only played 2 games of Lucian top lane. Both went very bad. And you can see that that isn't for him. Again, picking up new champions is very difficult to do at a higher rating. And even this is Diamond 4 rate roughly. It's still a very good rating. And most people are playing champions that they know. And if you're just randomly going, I'm going to pick up Lucian top, it can go very bad. And again, well, Lucian top lane specifically shouldn't really be played in solo queue because it's not a solo queue pick. Okay, Kalista's going for the tower. Good decision to go for the tower, but again, is it even worth at that current stage? Again, all you need is pressure. Go back and buy, use the gold that you have. Lee Sin's coming for a gank right now, which is good. He should be actually going for that. He was waiting. He should W. He potentially got a W to the side and then gone for it. They might actually pick up the thresh, which is good, which is nice. Orianna gets a solo kill on Ori, which we like to see. And we have now full vision of Kha'Zix. But like I was saying, that tower, was it even worth it? Like, you do get Jinx's flash for the Rakan kill. But you had a lot of gold, I would imagine. 2.5k gold. Before that play, I'd say roughly you had about maybe 1,800, 1,900 gold. That's enough gold to go get your Blade of the Ruined King and also get some attack speed. So you can go get that safely and then come back into lane and get the tower. So it's just about weighing up what's the best situation in it currently. And that wasn't a bad situation. I'm not saying it's a bad situation. It's just what is the best situation. Because again, the higher rating you go, so if Rosie were to get to Diamond 2, Diamond 1, the game doesn't just become how much gold you can get. It's also how much gold can you deny from the enemy team. You have to remember, every single good thing you do, every single bad thing you do has a scale on the gold. If you do a good thing, your gold of your team up here most likely goes up. If you do a bad thing, that doesn't make your gold go down. It makes their gold go up, which makes them stronger, which gives them a better chance of winning. So sometimes going for a play that is simply, I'm just going to not let the enemy team get gold right now, is the best play. Especially if you've got a great Wombo combo late game team comp. Like, look at the Wombo combo. Jarvan, who's legendary, was legendary, with an Orianna, with a Rakan, and with a Kalista having AoE damage eventually with Runen. That's an incredible combo. Orianna coming out a little bit too late there. Kha'Zix is coming for a play. Auto attack, auto attack. This is what we want to see. Keep her auto attacking. Nearly gets a kill, does go down. Lee Sin is going to maybe look for something or not. One thing that you can also notice is this Jinx's style of play is not executing with ultimate. It's just trying to get assists with it. It's just trying to hit people with it and then people die. It's a smart technique because you're still gaining from it, basically. Okay, Lucian is potentially maybe getting something. Lee Sin, if you could get to him, will probably get something too. Jarvan went for a teleport flank. Really bad Q, unfortunately, from Lee. Really greedy play coming out by Ari, going for 1 kill. Probably not worth it, or isn't worth it. Also blows the Ignite for no kill. And you're a half-health Ari. You have no vision of the massive Jarvan somewhere on the map. Again, that's all about going for a play that doesn't necessarily give you gold. That's a play that's like, okay, I could be giving the enemy gold right now. And that's something when you're behind, you probably don't want to do more of. So, moving forward into the game, we're at 20 minutes, which is kind of like becoming mid-game. This is where people will kind of give up on where their lanes are, and they'll start working more as a team. I was actually going to mention Baron. So, Kalista is one of the best Baron takers in the game, because she's a Blade of the Ruined King builder, and also her E. She gets 1,000,000 spears in a Baron, and every single time she spears something, a little bit more damage happens. And nearing the end of the Baron, you get like a 2,000 damage E. So let's see this Baron just go boom, boom. So wasn't the best E by Kalista, because usually you actually want that to be an execute, like a smite basically. But Lee Sin had quick enough to reactions to smite it as soon as Kalista pressed the E, which is great. Baron at 21 minutes in the game, have an advantage. What you should be looking for is potentially buying if you've got a lot of gold. But what you do not want to see is randomly your support in top lane. Like, this is just weird. So what you want to do, you've got Baron, you've got a wombo combo team comp, group. One Orianna roll would just absolutely obliterate this enemy team. And it's not just that. An Orianna ultimate could then lead into a Jarvan ultimate, which then could lead to a Rakan ultimate. But then it's the other way around. A Rakan jump into an ultimate could lead into a Jarvan ultimate, which then could lead to an Orianna roll. That's what a wombo combo is all about. One thing can combo off of another, and it doesn't have to just be one of the things first. It can be any of them, and it could lead into just a reaction of killing everything. But what you can't have is a support randomly top. There's the Orianna. So this is my point, everybody. That is an Orianna ultimate. I'm going to go back for 15 seconds and watch that again in slow motion. Let's make it epic. Orianna, by herself, who is 1 and 3, everybody. She is not fed. Again, not fed. Goes for a play. Half health. Boom. Nearly kills 2 people. Half health and AD carry by herself. Now, Kalista is coming for the play. Jarvan goes for the side play. 1 kill. We're still in slow motion. Nearly 2. Potentially could have gone for an auto attack there. Does change the ball. Gets 2. Kha'Zix comes for a flank. And my team is nowhere to be seen. So let's pause it and put it back to normal play in a second. She does go down. But this is my point. That was like a wombo damage by herself as an Orianna. Imagine if Jarvan was there. Imagine if even Rakan was there. Like, Rakan randomly was top lane. Imagine if Lee Sin was there. If any more people were there, it was just like an ace. They were all dead. But instead, you go for an Orianna play, which, by the way, was a good play. Good follow-up by Kalista. We do notice that she used both summoners, though. But then that's it. Like, Jarvan gets a kill on Ahri solo, which is great. But then you have to ask yourself, what was Lee Sin doing at this time? And what was Rakan doing at this time? And this is all about maximizing how you get victories. So never be the player at the end of the play who's just like, oh, you did that really good play? Ah, my bad, I wasn't there. Don't be that guy. So Jarvan is trying to go for a solo kill on the Kha'Zix. Doesn't end up getting it, but this will give the tier 2 in top lane. So again, just to mention everybody, this is still a good situation. They kill 4 people. They get a tier 2 tower, potentially pushing into a base tower with also top lane pushing. It's a good situation. It's not a bad situation. But it just furthers my point of you have a massive wombo potential. If Orianna can kill 3 people practically by herself, imagine what you can do as 5. Imagine what you can do as 3. So Rakan goes for a play. A little bit of a combo coming out. Kha'Zix is potentially going to go down. Does go down. Jarvan is now going to get in a little bit of a tricky situation. He will end up going down too. Hopefully Lee Sin will end up surviving. But again, this game, the enemy team is getting more gold than you want them to get. And all of it is stemming from my team not being 5 people. It's being 3 people, 2 people. It's not a 5. This is a very risky play if he were to go by himself, but he does have Kalista coming up on the rear. Potentially up here. Good Q. Just killed them. And Lee Sin is doing a lot of damage. Thresh randomly tries to go on the Orianna. So overall, a good play. Again, people decide what replays they want to give to me. So unless this game takes a dramatic turn, what I'd say for Rosie is in lane phase, really focus about, you know, dodging hooks, focusing on where your support is and what you can do with your support, especially as a Kalista, because you're such a linking champion that basically needs a support to protect. But other than that, in like team fights and that, we've seen fine stuff. You know, the last hits have obviously dropped from Kalista comparing to the Jinx. So maybe that's something that you could potentially be looking into. It's just, again, I'm not an AD carry main, but when I used to play AD carry, or when I do, my farm is always higher than average because in my head, I'm constantly thinking farm, 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 farm. And that's what you do as an AD carry. It's like your main objective for a long time of the game. So yeah, well, okay, so again, what I want to see is the team grouping, not Jarvan bot lane, wait for Orianna to get back, and then we want to break that inhibitor. That should be the next target. It shouldn't be top lane, shouldn't be bot lane. You have an open base inhibitor that you should be trying to get. So that's what I'd want to see from the team, whether we see it or not. So Rosie is actually making mistakes. So we can tell it's Rosie, by the way, because they're the one pinging, hey, let's go over here, and they're the one that is actually alone. So Kalista is not a 1v1 AD carry. And by the way, just to mention, if they do end up dying here, this is against a 0 and 10 Lucian. This is somebody that you should never die to, but you're giving him an advantage because you're not playing correctly. You're not playing with your team as a Kalista. But let's see how it goes. Potentially they'll be okay with getting the E damage. Does go down, so that is a massive mistake coming out, and that is because you want to be alone as a Kalista. Good hit by Lee Sin, actually. Does get another Thunderlord's proc. Will walk into him, looking for the execute. Does get it. Meanwhile, 2 people down here, 2 people in mid lane. No team play. There's no interlinking. There's no kind of, hey guys, we're on the same team. Let's win together. That's not really happening. Rakan does go for a flank play, which is really good. Orianna is staying mid lane. Both AD carries are coming, finding the Rakan. He should be completely fine. But yeah. Orianna is getting the inhibitor, which is the correct move. The one person that's done the correct thing in this whole play is Orianna. She gets the inhibitor. Well done to her. That was the thing that you should be prioritizing. It's the open objective that as a wombo combo team comp, as the Kalista who, you know, needs protection, that's what you should be focusing on. So they do get another kill on the Lucian, potentially game ending right now. Now, again, what a decision making. So I can see the point of why Kalista is going, or Huzzy is going over here. Oh, look, there's farm. But your team is potentially ending the game. They're kind of lower health. So right now, it might be worth going there. Going to the end of the game. If they're going to try and end, they may need you in 20 seconds. And you can probably get there in 20 to 30 seconds. So instead of going top lane just for farm, when the game is practically coming to an end, it probably would be better trying to do something with the team. Hook comes out, really nice cleanse by Orianna. They will maybe decide to back out, but I will say, partially of why my team, or this team is backing out, I would wager is because they see the AD carry not coming. They're like, okay, Kalista's going top lane, let's just back out. Kha'Zix is looking for a play, doesn't actually get anything. I will say the Kha'Zix has actually played quite well. He knows his aggression level quite well. Here we go, potentially a wombo coming. Unfortunately, no Orianna ultimate from what we can tell. Couple kills coming out for each team. Really nice play by Orianna. What you just saw there was people not focusing on the ball at all. They walked over it. They got hit by a W, and voila. This should be the game. So again, the ending, not a massive impact from Kalista, but that's partially because of decision making. That's partially because the Kalista chose not actually to group, which as a Kalista, that's your main objective. That's why you take a Runan's Hurricane. You're looking for that AoE damage in the middle of a team fight. So again, I'd partially say that is something that you should be looking more for. You're not Vayne, you're not a solo, you're not a Lucian, you're a Kalista. You're a pure grouping AD carry. And we didn't see a lot of that. You know, you did win, had a lot of damage. We had like one good combo in the mid lane there. But there could have been more. There could have been way more. You know, you just throw the Rakan on people. He charms them. Knock up. Orianna ult. That's such a crazy combo. But you can't do it if you're not actually grouping. So that's going to be it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the Spectate. If you did, throw a like on the video. Remember, if you want to join the series, all the details are linked down below. But let me know what you think of this episode in the comments. Any things that you want me to point out in future commentaries that I usually don't, also say that. And I will basically, you know, take that on board, look to my next replays, and try to integrate that in the commentary. So if you did like it, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you guys next time. See you.